Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this post, I want to talk about Game 4 of the NBA Finals, the observations I made, but more importantly than that, I want to talk about the number 98. If you've seen my other videos on the NBA Finals this for Games 1, 2, and 3, I was talking about how there's something very significant about the number 98 I could not put my finger on. Well, now I've put my finger on it, so we will get to that, but let's begin with Game 4. Prior to the game beginning, I noticed that ESPN throughout the day was building the narrative for a Warriors comeback. It seemed that everybody on ESPN's staff was saying they were feeling the Warriors comeback with the exception of Stephen A. Smith. There were headlines such as this: Cavs nearing their breaking point, talking about how the depleted Cavs roster with the injuries, down to essentially LeBron James and his supporting cast, might be outmatched by the Golden State Warriors, who won a record 67 games for their team this year. True Seekers, we move on. I'm also going to talk about Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Warriors. I made some really interesting observations about him. But before the game began, this is the beginning of Game 4. Before the gameplay actually started, they put up this graphic on the screen. Warriors and Memphis series. They were making the point how the Warriors were down 2-1 and came back and won it with ease, just like how they were down 2-1 and then won Game 4, making it 2-2. But there's something extra special about what's up here. Notice that how they showed how through games 1 through 3, the Warriors only had 93.3 points. In Game 2, the Warriors had a lead at 33 points, and they did not lead the game again until they were up 93-92, but then ended up losing with 93 points. And in that video, I talked about how the numbers 33 and 93 often have to do with sacrifice or losing in sports. Notice, through the first 3 games that they didn't do so well, 93.3 points. Then by Game 4, they improved to 101, a number significant to Steve Kerr, the coach of the team, and went on to win the series. Beyond that, also notice how they had 42% field goal percentage up from when they were losing. NBA Finals has a connection to 42. But with regards to Memphis Truth Seeker, what stands out about that to me is its connection to Ohio, the Warriors team itself, and the NBA Finals. So notice that Memphis has a Pythagorean gematria of 38, or with the S exception, 47, like how Ohio sums to 47 with simple English gematria. The first NBA championship was in the year 1947. That was won by the Philadelphia Warriors in that same year. So when I saw this stat up, I thought, maybe the Warriors can come back. Maybe they're trying to tell us something. Halftime of Game 4 finished with a score of 54, Cleveland 42. Remember, 42 is significant to NBA Finals. NBA Finals in Pythagorean gematria is 33 with the S exception 42. LeBron James, the name sums to 42. He's currently on a 2-year, $42 million contract. Important number in sports. Also, if you sum 54 plus 42, it sums to 96. Like the winning score of Game 3, Cleveland finished with 96 points. So, halftime score. They were down 12 at the half, Cleveland. They ended up losing the game by 21. Think about 12 and 21. Russell Wilson went 12 for 21 in the Super Bowl, with his 21st pass being intercepted by number 21 with 21 seconds left on down 2-1 on the date 2/1, February 1st. Numbers. So at the end of Game 4, after the Warriors won, Andre Iguodala, the media was talking up. And here's what's really weird about this to me, Truth Seeker. Back when I was younger in college, I was going to Arizona State University. Andre Iguodala at the same time was the star player of the Arizona Wildcats. Back then, LeBron James was just entering the NBA. And back then, I used to say that Andre Iguodala was a mini LeBron James. They played a similar style, physical players. Even back when they were younger, they looked similar in the face to me. So I find this really weird now that he is on this Golden State team facing Cleveland. And what else is weird is Andre Iguodala played the majority of his career for the Philadelphia 76ers. He was just recently traded to the Warriors, And remember, the Warriors were originally from Philadelphia. Philadelphia Warriors won the first NBA championship in 47. So for me personally, and maybe other people out there, they're relating with what I'm saying, I always kind of thought of Andre Iguodala and LeBron as a similar type player, even looking similar. Granted, now I don't think they look that much alike, but when they were younger, they really did. This time of 228 up here is interesting. I just noticed if you made that 228 and cut it in half, it'd be 114, a number very significant to LeBron James. The name Andre Iguodala has a simple English gematria of 112. LeBron James is 114. He was born January 28th, 1984. This is a date with some interesting life numbers. Notice he has a 33 life number, a 113 life number. Find those a lot in celebrities, athletes. Very common. And very suspicious when you see how many athletes have these life numbers. Makes you wonder what's really going on. So, with regards to Game 4, at the end, there was a lot of 22. LeBron James shot 7 for 22. Remember, if you divide 22 by 7, you get the number pi, having to do with cycles and circles. ESPN had this clip up of LeBron after the game with, it's a 22-second video about how he hurt his head. Also, the two leading Warriors scorers finished with 22 points. Curry and Iguodala both had 22. And the series is now tied at 2-2, perhaps why there was so much 22 in the game. Truly scripted, all by the numbers. And the people who script it, they got a weird sense of humor. So the final score of the game was 103-82. 82 is a specific number to basketball. 82-game season. Michael Jordan, considered one of the greatest players ever of the NBA, had a life number of 82. So finishing with 82, interesting. Earlier this year, Tiger Woods in his 322nd golf tournament, number 322, shot his career worst, an 82, just days before Seattle lost the Super Bowl, which was also a fixed hoax by the numbers. Seattle sums to 82. Those leading scorers, true seekers, Stephen Curry, Andre Iguodala, 22 points apiece. For those of you who watch my blog and sometimes write in the comments that the things are too small to look at, just click on it. Anything you click on my blog will get big enough for you to see. Just a little FYI. Let's see. True Seeker, with regards to the number 42 being so significant in these NBA Finals, this is what I want to say. If I'm wrong about the Cavs winning, I wouldn't be that surprised if the Warriors won. Again, both teams are connected through the number 42. They both retired the jersey of Nate Thurman, who wore the number 42. I think this series is going to finish in 6 games. Whoever wins will win it 4-2. So pretty much whoever wins the next game in Golden State, I suspect, will win the finals. Game 6 will be on June 16th, 2015. This is a date with numerology connections to 6-7. Notice that 16, 1 plus 6 reduces to 7. The Warriors, again, had 67 wins this year. 67's been huge in sports, from the Triple Crown to the Mayweather boxing match to the NBA Finals and more. Also, this date has a numerology of 37, which has been huge. First Triple Crown winner in 37 years. LeBron's been having a lot of 37 connections lately, another important number. So I suspect the finals end on June 16th, 2015. Whoever wins it, 4-2. Looking for hints to who might win, I went back and looked at the All-Star game to see if there was anything there. The All-Star game was on February 15th, the last day of Lupercalia, which turns out to be very connected to these NBA Finals. We'll talk about that. But notice that the West won. Golden State's in the West, Cleveland's in the East. But the West won, and in the first quarter, they scored 47 points. 47. Again, super important number. First NBA championship in 47, very much connected to this series. In that game, Russell Westbrook scored 41 points, but he stopped scoring. Why? Because the record for most points in the All-Star game is 42, and it seemed very apparent he was told not to pass that. So he just stopped scoring, he stopped shooting, finished with 41. The record's still 42. Remember this number that's also very important in this year's NBA Finals. So now we're going to talk about why the number 98 was so big in this year's NBA Finals. It even ties in with the plane crash story. Remember the suicidal pilot that flew into the Alps Mountains? I did several video posts on that. I showed how connected it was to the festival of Lupercalia. If you're not familiar with Lupercalia, it's an old festival. They're not even sure exactly how far back it goes. But here, we'll just read the opening paragraph from Wikipedia. Lupercalia was a very ancient, possibly pre-Roman pastoral festival observed on February 13th, the 44th day of the year. Remember how important 44 is to this finals. LeBron's in Cleveland for their 44th year anniversary. King James equals 44. 44 has been huge in sports. Lupercalia is all connected to 44 as well, True Seeker. February 13th, the 44th day of the year. So, observed on February 13th through 15th to avert evil spirits and purify the city, releasing health and fertility. Lupercalia subsumed February, an earlier origin spring cleansing ritual held on the same date, which gives the month of February its name. And remember, February is the only month with Gematria of 42 and also the only month with Gematria of 96. All numbers of significance. The Triple Crown winner came 113 days after this. Also interesting. But check this out, True Seeker. So, Lupercalia this year began February 13th, the 44th day of the year. The NBA Finals began June 4th, the 155th day of the year. The span of days between the 44th and 155th is 111 days, or 3 months and 22 days. And remember, True Seekers, NBA Finals in Jewish Gematria equals 322, the skull and bones number. Or in simple English Gematria equals 111. And as I said in Game 1, the Warriors failed to score 111 points. They were supposed to, but they missed their final 3 three-pointers, finishing with 108 instead of 111. But it was very obvious to me that they were trying to score 111 and Cleveland was letting them get it. They couldn't make the shot, so LeBron rebounded, went coast to coast, got a free lay-in, scored his 44th point. See how important it all is, True Seeker? These athletes, they know what's going on. They have assignments. They're following a script. Just like how actors follow a script, just why like athletes are paid like actors. Something we need to wake up to. Interestingly enough, this was also 15 weeks and 6 days. The number 156 is connected to God. We talked about that in the recent God post, which I did last weekend. Also, True Seeker, remember, Game 1 of the NBA Finals went to overtime, 98-98, tie ball game. It came 98 days after they played each other on February 26th. In that game, LeBron James had his season high of 42 points. Again, both teams retired the number 42. That is how I first figured out that the NBA Finals would likely be Warriors-Cavs. And with regards to the Warriors and Lupercalia, I want to point out that they're from the Bay Area. Remember Andreas Lubitz, that pilot who supposedly crashed the plane that's also connected to Lupercalia. The first photo the media put out of him, and then they kept showing over and over, was him sitting in front of the Golden Gate Bridge in the Bay Area. You know? So what's all the emphasis about? I was asking that back then, long before the NBA Finals started. That Gematria True Seeker LeBron James is connected to 42, 51, 114. Again, it's been 51 years since Cleveland won a championship for sports in the year 64. Also, True Seeker, the college championship was on 4/6. It was won by Coach K and the Duke Blue Devils. Coach K's birthday is February 13th, the first day of Lupercalia. So even the college championship this year had a connection to Lupercalia, just not the NBA Finals. An important distinction. Blue Devils sums to 111 like the NBA Finals and 666 in English Gematria, just like the NBA Finals. Again, True Seeker, all sports is synced up. Pro, collegiate, it's all part of the charade. It's all part of the charade. With regards to Steve Kerr, the coach of the Warriors, let's look at him. The name Steve Kerr sums to 42. Number of significance, He's been the coach of the Warriors for a little more than a year. Notice that Curry equals 25. His jersey at Arizona was number 25, retired with the team. The initials S and K break down to 1 and 11, kind of like the NBA Finals. S is the 19th letter, breaks down to 10. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. K is the 11th. You don't have to break down multiples of 11. He was born September 26, 65. Currently 49 years old, a number very significant to the Bay Area. Warriors equals 49. The 49ers, the football team, are there. The 49ers joined the NFL in 49. It'll be their 66th year in the league, and they'll be hosting the Super Bowl this year. The first Super Bowl was in the year 66, the 47th season of football. All sports rigged by the same numbers. They used to call Steve Kerr an assassin. Assassin has a gematria of 101. He has a life number of 101. And anybody who remembers Steve Kerr play, he really was an assassin. He made threes in the clutchest moments. And now he coaches Stephen Curry, probably the best three-point shooter in the history of the league already, even though his career's still got a lot of years left. Steve Kerr became the head coach of the Golden State Warriors on May 14th, 2014. This is a date with numerology connections to 33, 53, and 17. All numbers special to the NBA. NBA has an acronym of 17. Notice he would join the league in 88. Been in the league since 88. What else is interesting about him is that when he was 18 years old, a freshman in college, his father was murdered at the age of 52 in Lebanon, where he's from. What I find suspicious about this is so many star athletes have their fathers murdered when they're young, and it's always blamed on a group of random thugs, a terrorist, a car accident, blah, blah, blah. We've covered this in many other posts, and here it is even true of Steve Kerr. I suspect his father was murdered for his future success. This seems to be some sort of Masonic secret society ritual. People giving up their fathers for future success, from Chris Paul to a whole lot more. So Steve Kerr also adds to the suspicions. Remember, Cleveland's got the only Israeli coach. Their coach is a Jew. Steve Kerr from Lebanon. Also with some connections from over there. And again, LeBron James, through the first 3 games before he lost in Game 4, had set a record with 123 points, 44, 39, then 40. The word conspiracy sums to 123. Also has a connection to LeBron James and his 123 points. So that's pretty much the extent of the message. Figured out what the 98 was all about. They're using Lupercalia, the festival, as a benchmark. From hoax news to hoax NBA Finals. It's all very bizarre. Remember, big things are coming to Cleveland. The Republican convention. It's been a historical city in the past. It was Grover Cleveland, that the city is named after, whose failed third term as president is what really bolstered the Republican Party, they said once upon a time. So we'll see what happens with this Republican convention coming up in Cleveland. One last point. We're in the time of the 114th Congress. LeBron James equals 114. Cleveland Cavaliers equals 114. The leader of Congress is also from Ohio. John Boehner equals 114. And with regards to Ohio, Stephen Curry, the star of the Warriors, is born in the same Akron, Ohio hospital as LeBron James, supposedly. We got that headline as well. So a lot of weirdness going on. Game 5 is later today. Whoever wins that, I suspect, will also win Game 6. Make one last point here about that. The weirdest thing I heard before Game 4 was what Skip Bayless said while debating Stephen A. Smith. This is what he said, True Seeker. Anybody who's watching probably remembers this. He said something that made completely no sense, but then again, it's Skip Bayless who's on TV to make stupid statements that don't really make sense and strike up just dumb arguments. But this is exactly what he said. He said, Golden State is playing so awfully, it's like they don't even belong in this NBA Finals. Again, this is before Game 4, when the series was 2-1. They don't even belong. It looks like Cleveland has the series. It's in the bag. But then he goes, but despite saying that, I'm pretty sure the Warriors are going to win tonight. And then because they were saying this in Cleveland, then all the Cleveland people started booing. And he goes, but I think the Cavs and LeBron are going to come back and win the championship. So just think about how stupid of a statement that is. To say that a team is playing like absolute garbage, like they don't even belong, but I think they're going to win tonight, then I think they're going to lose the series. I mean, that just doesn't even make sense. But lo and behold, that is what happened. Golden State did win. So remember, if Cleveland comes back and wins this series, like my original assumption, Skip Bayless, what he said will have been perfectly true, and it will still have been perfectly nonsensical, just like pro sports is, which is why I've been able to see how fake it is long before I saw numerology or gematria. I just had to figure out all this so I can get through to the average moron in this country who's so certain that sports aren't rigged and thinks that's such a stupid idea, even though the only reason sports are on TV are to distract us from the things we should be doing and for gambling, which millions of idiots lose their money to. So, that's pretty much the message, Truth Seeker. Look more into that Lupercalia. It was very much connected to the plane crash, and I suspect it'll be connected even more. It looks like it was even connected to the Triple Crown, Truth Seeker. Let me just show you real quick. From the date of Lupercalia to the date of the Triple Crown, 113 days, this number of great significance. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant both summed to 113. Michael Jordan unexpectedly retired January 13th, 1999, a date with 33 numerology. Anyway, the word fish has a Jewish gematria of 113, and in the Bible there's a miracle catch of 153 fish, which connects to Triple Crown, and I assure you that this was also part of the thinking behind the people who plotted this whole rigged spectacle that we've now witnessed. Just one more piece of evidence. All right, Truth Seekers, signing off at 9:47. Until next time.